Late last year, ARPA Canada published an article on our site explaining how the Bank of Montreal and over 70 other massive corporations have joined together under the umbrella of Legal Leaders for Diversity, or the LLD. But these leaders have a very strange definition of diversity. The LLD is flexing its collective muscle against Christians in Canada, most blatantly through their efforts to have accreditation revoked for Canada's first Christian law school. Now, our article exposing the LLD has already been accessed more than 11,000 times on our website and shared over 700 times on Facebook. And better yet, we continue to receive emails and phone calls from you, from businesses, schools, professionals, families, who are respectfully but firmly responding to these corporations, even canceling their credit cards and bank accounts and moving their money to other institutions. As I'll explain soon, the impact is being felt from Bay Street to Parliament Hill and in dozens of communities throughout Canada. So what exactly is the issue? Well, according to the Institute for Canadian Values, BMO contacted their legal suppliers on October 9th with a letter stating, quote, BMO requires the law firms with whom we do business to disclose the diversity statistics of their associates, partners, management committees as part of their external counsel selection program. That doesn't sound so bad, does it? But there's more to it. See, the Institute for Canadian Values explained that the bank is starting with legal suppliers, but it's going from there. If the suppliers do not reflect the diversity stats that the bank wants to see, they'll be dropped. And beyond that, the bank's intent on its employees, reflecting its inclusiveness as not just tolerating others, but reflecting the values of the clients. Now, one of those values, it seems, is to refuse to hire anyone, especially lawyers, who come from a community that still holds to a biblical definition of marriage. And it's not just BMO, Sobeys, Ford, MNP, Kellogg's, Deloitte, RBC, UPS, many other corporations who are part of the Legal Leaders for Diversity have sent a letter to the Canadian Federation of Law Societies urging this quasi-governmental body to deny accreditation to Trinity Western University's proposed Christian law school, on the grounds that this school requires students to abide by a community covenant which affirms sexual purity, among many other things. Now, as you probably know, ARPA is intervening in the TW Law School cases in BC and Nova Scotia because we recognize that the fundamental freedoms, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of association, and the equality rights of an entire community, all supposedly protected by our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, all of those are undermined when those government agencies refuse to recognize TW graduates as qualified professionals. You see, these charter rights are becoming meaningless. If we can say that religious freedom means the right to believe what you want to believe, but you're going to suffer negative consequences at the hand of the state for attending a religious school, what's the point of that protection? If we can say that we enjoy equality before the law without discrimination on the basis of religion, but that some types of people are just a little more equal than others, what's the point of the protection? See, the principles being advanced in this case and supported by BMO and 72 of the largest corporations in Canada, the principle says that every Christian who belongs to a community that holds its members to a biblical standard of holiness does not belong in a so-called tolerant Canada. These Christians do not belong in a so-called tolerant Canada. So now that many of you have been speaking with RBC and BMO and all the other corporations, what's happened? Well, we were first encouraged to see members of Parliament stand up in the House of Commons with passionate speeches in defense of freedom of religion and in particular opposition to the efforts of these corporations to squash a Christian law school. That takes courage, and it's well worth commending these MPs for speaking up. We were also encouraged to learn that BMO drafted a confidential letter about the pushback they're getting, and they sent it to all their executives and the branch managers. We've got a copy of that letter here. It contains internal talking points for talking with folks like us. And some of these points include: we did not intend any disrespect. We did not intend to offend. Please accept my apology. A little lower it says, we regret if our view offends you. Again, it was not in our intent, and we apologize. See, BMO is apologizing for any perceived disrespect or offense we may have felt. But do they acknowledge that their course of action is problematic in any way? Unfortunately, the answer is no. They explain that, quote, simply put, consistent with our value of diversity and inclusion, we believe entry to professions like law should be inclusive and based on merit. Now, that is indeed true, and I would hope it is. It begs the question of how they can justify excluding Christians. Their assumption seems to be that diversity is for everybody except Christians. Now, I also have a letter here from a regional president of the Royal Bank, which he sent in response to the concerns of one of our supporters. This person went out of his way to meet with his local branch to discuss the issue, and his concerns were brought to the attention of the regional president. And that president had this to say: at RBC, diversity for growth and innovation is one of our core values. We believe that by drawing on the strength of diversity in all its forms, then we can better meet new challenges and help create prosperity for our clients, employees, shareholders, and communities. To find out more about our approach to diversity, please visit www. They hope that this answers the concerns of the ARPA reader. Now, both BMO and RBC seem to think that their belief in diversity mandates them to oppose a Christian law school. Exclusivity in the name of diversity is hard to understand. That explains why both of the banks are incapable of defending their actions against Christians. Folks, we can't just roll over and accept these attempts to whitewash the truth. If you haven't yet spoken up with any of these corporations that you do business with, please do so in a respectful way. We have some sample letters on our website. Be sure to ask them for a response that explains how, in particular, they can justify the LLD's opposition to a Christian law school in the name of diversity. Now, if they give you a response like one of these letters, challenge them in a firm but respectful way so that they understand they haven't answered your concerns. It's not enough. If you need assistance, give us a phone call or an email. We're here to help you. As with all of our calls to action, please don't just sit on this. Spread the word. Use email or social media to share this video also far and wide. Thank you for standing up for freedom. For ARPA Canada, I'm Mark Penninga.